like the pilot episode?
This is the pilot episode, yes. But I don't know what we're calling it yet.
Yeah.
But we'll say exactly what this podcast is going to be about, so you'll know if you want to turn it off in the first 30 seconds, right?
They might have already turned it off.
I did hesitate.
Are we in it right now?
I think we're in it. I think we're in it, but I think I hesitated on the name. But we are going to talk about...
We don't have a name yet.
No, that's true. We are going to talk about craps. We are... Well, let me just introduce ourselves as in very much love gambling. We are avid craps players, roulette players.
Yeah. Well, craps.
Well, craps is our go-to.
Yeah.
But I sometimes like to branch off to roulette just when I want to lose a bunch of money.
We're primarily, I think you can consider us primarily craps players.
Yes.
That's our
we may not know what the odds are or the payouts are, but we like to throw the dice.
We're novices. We're students of the game.
Students of the game. That's a good.
Yeah,
maybe we could call it that.
We're trying to learn. That's the name of the podcast. Students of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
And but I think we're going to go over strategies of what we're going to do. We got about a 4-hour drive. Don't worry, we're not going to record for 4 straight hours. We are coming from Nashville, heading to Tunica, and we really like Tunica. We know that a lot of people think it's probably old or not Vegas or not Biloxi or Gulf Shore or Gulfport or anything like that up in the east or something. But
it's fun for us.
Love it, and we tell them why we love it.
Well, a couple of reasons why. They give free drinks at the table, which is a huge plus.
Free drinks.
Free drinks on the table. Also, we get our rooms comped for being
every single
return customers. They comped our rooms for 2 nights.
Yes. Well, we get 3. I get 3, but I only use 2.
They only give me 2, so I don't have the clout that you do. So luckily, I'm riding with you, so you can maybe vouch for me.
Yes. And your room last time blew my room out of the water.
Yeah.
And we got lucky. We both do it on the internet. We assign in or whatever. But when he got there, he had like a 2-room room.
Yeah. Well, it had an extra like little area for if I wanted to bring guests over. If I had a lot, maybe
it would be entertaining, maybe.
Yeah. If I was entertaining, I was looking to maybe bring somebody by for a couple drinks, pre or post. I think you can have a
pre and post nightcap craps. All right.
So anyway, it was a deluxe. I think it was actually called a premier room. If anybody's looking to try to book at Samstown and wants to get the extra.
That's where we're going.
Extra room.
I don't know if we said that.
Yeah, I think you did Samstown.
Anyway, we love Samstown and we love Tunica. And we go to Hollywood's across the street. And what else do we? Oh, we go to the Fitz, which used to be formerly known as the Fitzgerald. And they have the fire bed there. We like the fire bed at Fitz.
Yeah.
Because John,
we hit it once.
He hit like 7 points, but 2 of them are repeats.
Yeah.
And that didn't count. So I think that you got 5.
Yeah, 5 separate points, numbers that I hit.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Yeah, and we don't message on our video that we messed something up, that we said something wrong, because we definitely said. Well, actually, you could message that we said something wrong, because we learned. We need to learn the right way to say
lingo. Yeah.
Because there are a lot of experts out there, a lot of people with more experience than us, and we are merely students of the game. We're not experts by any stretch.
But we do like playing, and we're going to go over what strategies we're going to go. Most of our strategies are simple and easy to learn, and I guess we're going to be saying we're trying them out for the first time this time.
Yeah, well, this particular strategy that we're trying out is going to be for the first time.
Yeah.
We've never done it before.
Never done that, and we'll get into that in a little bit. I wanted to also talk about dice setting. I feel like I get some more out of my dice when I set it to a certain combination. John just
I just throw it only because I haven't had the experience, the practice there.
I have a table at home, and I always carry dice with me because when I'm sitting at a red light, I want to be able to be really fast at getting my dice set combination, because you don't want to be that person that's fumbling around and everybody's waiting for you to throw it. I'm sitting there, I gotta get this on the 1, and I gotta get this on the 6, and then the dealers are all like huffing and stuff. But I feel like,
and luckily they just made a law in Tennessee that said that you can't touch your phone while you're in your car. However, there's no law that says you can't touch your dice while you're in your car. So luckily, Aaron is still in compliance.
I am, and I have 2 sets of dice. I mean, sets that I use, because I use one for the opening roll, which I feel like gets a 7 and 11.
Right.
The only reason I say that I feel like it's a 7 and 11 because I've seen 7 come up 3 or 4 times in a row
Right.
on this size. And to me, I feel like if I can do that every time, it's not 4 times every time, but sometimes it's 2 in a row or whatever. And it always kills the all tall small though. Everybody gets so mad because one time I had all the numbers filled except for one, and I had just hit the point. You weren't there. You were up sleeping or something.
Okay.
But they slid me the dice, and the other guy that was the one that was really counting on this last number, and he had all this money on it, and he was at the other end of the table, and I heard him whisper to his girlfriend, "Oh no, this guy's setting for the 7," because see, I didn't have any investment in the all tall small, and I was setting for the 7. I almost stopped when I heard him say that, because I did know that it had a very good chance of hitting the 7 and wiping out his all tall small.
Gotcha.
And but I wanted the 7 because I think I had 10 or 15 on the line.
Now I got a question. So does the 11 wipe it out, or just the 7?
Just the 7.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and you want to hit the 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the others are 6, I think, and then 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 on the other one. And the 7 will wipe it out. You just have to throw another $1 or 2 down every time. I think it's minimum 5, like $1. But no, it's 2, 2, 1. 1 for all 12 or whatever numbers, and then 2 on each side. But anyway, so I heard him say, "Oh no, this guy throws 7s on his opening roll," and I'm nervous. I heard him say that. Yeah. And I did roll a 7, and it wiped out all of his things.
But it proves that your point that you can, if you do the right dice setting, you can throw what you're looking for.
I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't hit the rolled a point and then 7'd out like in 2 rolls,
right?
Because that does happen to everybody.
It doesn't always work, but you're looking for the percentages.
Yes, that's exactly right, and I feel like I get something out of doing that. But John, he like I told you, rolled a fire bet, 7 points in a row, just randomly throwing dice down there. So anybody can get lucky in a lucky streak, right?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, absolutely. There's no explanation.
I mean, I wasn't like shortchanging you.
No.
You have your way, I have mine.
I wasn't offended. I think that I definitely didn't have any sort of strategy for throwing. I would just.
But even though you did fake, like you didn't know what you're doing.
Right. Sometimes
which was funny.
Well, sometimes I try to pretend like I know how to set the dice for people at the table, because that gives them confidence in you. If they see you do that, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy knows what he's doing. I'm gonna make sure that I bet with him." And so I don't know. I just did it.
That is funny. That you say that because I saw you setting it once, and then everybody started putting money on the table. Because, oh, this guy knows what he's doing. This guy, he's a sharpshooter. Right, and I probably 7'd out right after that. Yeah, it's funny. It's like he works for the casino. He's a cooler. Yeah. Which also brings me to a whole nother level of stories of what to do when I'm throwing. Remember, you're supposed to be my wingman for blocking randoms from walking up and talking to me. Okay. So I didn't know I was responsible for that. Well, you are now, because I feel very much discomfort when someone tries to talk to me. Yeah. Unless it's you. Right. Because I feel like I can play off. Right. You don't necessarily have to go out of your way to like try to have like a real conversation when it's just me. It's more comfortable. Whereas somebody else walks up and all of a sudden you got to stop what you're thinking about and then start having a conversation with somebody. Yeah. When you should be thinking about how you're going to be setting your dice. See, I never even told you this one story. I don't think. Whenever I took you there for the first time and you were playing on the crapless table and I was playing on the table right behind you. That right. Some kid I was throwing, and this was another all tall small situation where this guy beside me had all this money on it, and we had just gotten every number except for one, and this kid came up and he was drinking a daiquiri stacked high with whipped cream. Like it was like a girly drink or whatever. Was it a real kid or just a young guy? No, I mean like 21 or something, or whatever. But he looked young, like he didn't know what he was doing in the casino, and he was drinking it without. Yeah, he was drinking it without a straw. Yeah. So now imagine whipped cream, drinking a daiquiri, no straw. So now this whipped cream is all across his. Yeah, it's across his lip. Like that's like, who doesn't know they have whipped cream across their lip? So you're thinking that was intentional. Exactly. That's where I was going with this, because I always feel like, why is this guy? Okay, now he's asking me how to play. I'm in whipped cream on his face. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'm in mid motion, like to throw, and he's like, "So where do you put the the $5 bill or the $5, or whatever? How do you?" Very, very suspicious. Yeah, and I'm like, this is so weird. Why have all the 15 other people sitting at this table and I've got the dice? He's asking me questions, and I have no problem helping somebody out if I'm not throwing. You can ask me anything you want. I'm not that stuck up or whatever, but with whipped cream across your mouth, that seems very. And asking me a question after question after question, right? And so I'm like, like,
Yeah. So what'd you do? What'd you tell him?
I sat him down and I didn't tell him anything. But the guy beside me goes, "You need to tell your friend to get lost." And I was like, "He's not my friend. I don't even know who this is." And so this guy came around me and said, "You know, this guy's throwing, and I got a lot of money on the table, blah blah blah." And I was rolling all night long. I mean, it was rolling really good.
Yeah.
And then as soon as this guy comes up,
you had a reputation at the table. People knew you.
I feel like they thought I was doing good because they were really counting on that, you know, those numbers and stuff.
Yeah.
And everything was going good until that guy came up, and I kept thinking, is this guy sent here to cool me off? You know, but
so you always, I think, have those conspiracy theories about people being sent specifically to, and maybe it exists, but it's hard to know when and where it's coming.
But isn't it odd though if I'm doing really well? Like I've just rolled like 20-something times in a row, and all of a sudden now somebody's asking me questions.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, it also could be that people think, oh boy, this guy's doing really well. He might be a person that could get me into the game and get me some knowledge that I don't already have.
But do you think you should wait? Is it not rudeness?
Oh yeah, for sure you should wait, but they don't know that. I mean,
but don't you think that's the same as when I'm throwing and somebody throws $3,000 down on the table?
Oh yeah, in the middle.
Right in the middle of my roll, somebody throws $3,000 on the table, and they have to count it out.
Yeah.
So now I'm delayed for 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have a rhythm. Don't you think rhythm is a part of it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think so.
Like, you know, you're counting. You know, you're in the zone. You know, and when I'm setting my dice, I was telling you that I have a table at home and I practice this same set, and I do a bunch of combinations to see what, you know, transpires, and I write them down on a piece of paper. I'm probably real nerdy about that, but I have a little grid sheet that I'll throw it 100 times.
Nerdy about that.
Yeah, but I'll set a dice set and I'll throw it 100 times.
Yeah.
I write it down and I count how many sevens I have.
Right.
Because I want to be able to have the most minimalist sevens in my set of 100 that I throw. And if it has a lot of sevens, then I'm like, I'm not going to throw it.
Yeah, it's a bad.
And I don't just do one set of 100. I do a bunch of sets.
Well, that's a good idea. I mean, that's really going above and beyond.
But my whole point about bringing that up is the way I throw the dice is I want to hit the table. You know where I'm going with this?
Right at the edge. Well, that's what they teach you, right?
Yeah, I feel like you want very little dice reaction. I want the dice to hit the base of the wall and where the felt
and then just drop.
You just hit dead solid like this, you know, like just come in at a high arch. I don't want to throw that much because I feel like if it hits early, it's going to bounce. Right. I want to come high arch, bounce a tiny bit at the end and hit the edge and stop dead. You know, don't come flying back at me. And stuff. And but you see what happens. Well, you see what happens when I throw too short.
Yeah.
What?
Well, so for yours, I mean, you're putting this work in, and then you're concentrating at the time, trying to recreate all the practice that you put into it, and so that's why the distractions affect you more than it affects somebody like me who's just basically throwing.
No, I agree. You're right. I am concentrating on my spot landing points. And but do you remember when I was first trying to learn it, where I was throwing too short or too high of an arch? Yeah. I would get chastised for throwing too high. Right. Said I needed to have an eye level.
Well, because some of it would go off the table.
Did it go off the table?
Yeah.
How many times do you think it went off the table?
Well, that you've ever thrown off the table?
No, that time that we were there, that time I was hitting those people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you've thrown off the table, like...
Remember those football fans at the end of the table?
Maybe like 10 or 12 times I've seen.
And they were holding the drinks, and they go, you guys might want to get a shield. And he goes, no, we're used to it, because they've been there all weekend. Right. They just have it always. Remember, they bet against me every single time.
Right, they did.
Yeah.
They started betting.
But that was the point of high arches. When you throw too short, it hits it and then bounces right over the wall just perfectly. But that's why I want to hit right at the base of the wall, and then it doesn't have a chance to bounce out. But sometimes they have bouncy tables. That's what I had heard. They added bouncy tables to
some tables are definitely bouncier than others.
Counteract the dice setting and stuff, so it bounces more and stuff. But anyway, I feel like, I mean, you guys probably do your own sets or whatever, or just throw random, and you probably still get good results. But I feel like I'm changing my results is what I feel like.
Right. But the fact that you're able to throw those sevens on the first roll, that's that gives you hope.
Well, let's talk about what do you think we should do when we first walk in? I always get nervous, even though we've been here a million times.
Sure,
I get nervous. I think I get nervous not as I'm walking up to the table, but nervous of...
It's intimidating a little bit.
Well, I feel like I get nervous making my point and then sevening out immediately.
Oh yeah, you don't want to look like an amateur.
No, and I don't want to lay all the numbers up, $5 on every number.
Oh, that you don't want you to do that.
I don't want to mess up. Yeah, well, that's what makes me nervous. Is I load up the numbers and then throw a 7 immediately.
Yeah, yeah,
so
sure. That's I guess one of the risks.
Why I get nervous. But I do like to watch for a while before I jump in.
Yeah.
You know, to kind of see how the table's going and stuff.
Right.
But,
what are you watching for?
I'm just watching to see if, like, a shooter is rolling more than 5 rolls. You know,
Gotcha.
I feel like I can make some money if a guy rolls more than 5 rolls.
Yeah.
If you're getting four rolls and counting your opening roll, then I can barely even get any money back from any results.
Yeah, well, that's if you load up the table.
Well, even if you bet 6 and 8, if he only rolls 4 times and he doesn't hit 6 or 8 at all, I'm still going to lose that $12. But so anyway, what do you think? We have bankrolls. We have a certain amount of bankroll, and we're going to do a certain amount per session, right?
Yeah.
So we call a session, and we just cash in with like 200 or whatever, and then we try to make that last all night. Is the goal, or 5 hours. I mean, whatever you think $200 should last you, even if you're just there to play. Because I don't know. How do you feel about if I say I don't care if I make a lot of money? I just want to last all weekend. Yeah, I want to stay afloat and last all weekend drinking free and getting free buffets. Yeah. Is that a good goal?
Yeah, that's a good goal.
Or should I say I would like to double my money and then leave?
Well, here's what I found. This has been my experience, is that I feel like we usually are making more money when we're just there having fun and not like so serious at the table. Do you know what I mean? Which is a hard thing to do, because once you start getting into it, once you start getting more more knowledge about how the game works and strategies, then you start to get like zero in on what you're going to do, and it becomes like more like a job than fun. But I feel like when we're having fun, that's when like all of a sudden we just start winning, and we're not even thinking about it.
We're not concentrating.
And so I don't know what.
Just enjoying the moment.
Just enjoying the moment. Yeah. I don't know what that means, or if we need to use that the way that we bet, but that's something I've found.
Well, I think that mentality plays a lot into it. Like if I am depressed, or I'm sad, or I'm counting every chip that I have, then I feel like I can't open up and really let loose and just be relaxed and throw. I think that has a huge deal in it.
For sure,
If I'm like all uptight and I'm like, I better not spend this,
Well, that one time that we had that long run with the fire bet, I feel like I had like not a care in the world. Granted, we were down a lot at that point, and so it's like almost like you don't care at that point, so you're just like whatever.
It was funny, you were acting like you'd never done it before, because you kept saying, so am I supposed to just roll the dice?
What do you just throw the numbers? Is that what you do? Just throw the numbers? Yeah, I was making a joke.
That was funny to me.
Yeah, no, it was. I thought it was funny too, but
I was going to tell about that. The thing about it is that you didn't notice it, but the guy at the pit was calling the higher ups. When you hit 4 numbers, they started calling suits, and I saw them coming down the escalator. It was like 3 or 4 of them coming down, and they all started surrounding the table. Like either they wanted to see this unbelievable feat that's about to happen. Maybe it doesn't happen that much, but or they wanted to see if you were doing.
Maybe I was cheating.
Weird dice, but you did remember that. You want to talk about that time that you tried to palm the dice by accident?
Well, I didn't try. I think that we've already established.
Sure looked suspicious to me.
We've already established that I don't really do a dice setting, and I don't really, do anything special with the way I throw. And so this particular time, I threw, and the one die, I guess it's a singular, just stuck to my finger, and it looked like I was putting a special kind of spin on it, and it didn't even reach the end of the table.
It fell out of your hand like you'd been holding it.
Right, and so we thought that they were going to say, oh, that doesn't count, re-roll, it doesn't count.
You hit the point with that, though.
And that was the point. I think it was a 5 or something, because I think it was a 4 with the other one, and that was like a 1.
And it didn't even hit the back of the wall. The other one did.
The other one did.
But I thought they were going to cancel that out, because it was the 4th point or something like that.
I was looking around me like, but then it ended up working, and so that was one of the points I hit. And so that was one of the scarier parts. But I think that I was on a roll at that point, and so they didn't say anything. But we've also seen other people throw and not hit the end of the table with either, and they just get warnings. You know what I mean? They just get warnings.
I saw him get multiple warnings.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was really wasted or something. Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, and
he was rolling it halfway, and that was it.
I've never seen anybody.
Like he was in a back alley.
I've never seen anybody get their roll disqualified for not hitting the back of the table.
No.
Which is interesting. I mean, I thought that was like a big part of it, but apparently they're not. They're flexible on the rules.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to stop here in a second, John. You see that battery flashing?
Oh yeah.
On the right side. But anyway, we'll keep going. I think it records even if it hits the end of the battery. I think we'll make sure this locks in the footage.
Oh yeah.
Since our pilot episode.
Should I plug in?
No, there's no plug in for it.
There's not?
No, that's from my phone.
Okay.
But anyway, let's move on.
Shove this cop in here.
Yes. All right, let's talk about the strategy real quick, and then we'll go into more detail when we change batteries.
Okay.
But what are you? Okay, say we have $185 for our first session. Right. What do you intend to do with the $185? What is your first thing you do?
I think that the strategy sort of originated from a strategy that we had where we were playing essentially
Bubble
1, 2, 4 on the bubble crabs.
Martingale, I think they call it. Also.
On the field bet.
Oh yeah.
So the field bet is obviously something that a lot of the pros will tell you that it's the worst bet on the table. We've heard that a lot. People say the worst bet on the table.
Why is it so fun? Maybe because it's instant.
Well, there's so many numbers that you can get, instant satisfaction. A lot of numbers you can get, and you for whatever reason it's like instantaneous. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I bet the field bet. We both bet the field bet a lot.
It's the easiest thing to do, really.
It's
you
easy
just
to
throw it
yeah,
down.
exactly. And so
I
started to do this strategy where I would do 1, 2, 4 on the field, where I would bet first like the minimum bet, which
minimum was
on
3.
the bubble crabs is 3, but on the table is 5. And then you basically, if you lose that, then you double it. If you win that, you stay on 3.
Okay.
And so you basically bet 3, you lose, you bet 6, you lose, you bet 12, you lose, you bet 24, you lose, you bet 48, and so on and so forth until you win. And so you're essentially making back whatever you just lost plus 3 every single time. So
because we were thinking that no way it goes 7 rolls without hitting the field.
Right.
I mean, 7 rolls, that's a lot of rolls to not hit any of those numbers on the field.
Right.
So you had enough money to do up to 7 misses.
Yeah, and so I had 100 on there, and then once you get up to 48 and 96, it starts to get up there, and so so you need a pretty big bankroll in order to cover it. And at one point, and Aaron's got the other video up where I did it, and I've been
bubble crabs Tunica. I think that's what I have it under.
Okay.
And it's when we were first starting out, so I'm yelling out I'm doing the iron cross, but I don't even think I'm really doing the iron cross.
Right. Yeah. You already got yelled at from people about that.
But John was doing the field.
But I was doing the field, and then I lost, and then Aaron stops the video.
It stopped after 22 minutes, so we're going to restart again. If this happens to fall off in the middle of our show, it's because I don't have the suction cup holder.
Just stay tuned. Pick up the camera.
We'll pick it up, or we'll continue it from the floorboard.
Don't turn the video off if all of a sudden the video goes black.
Or you hear a bunch of like tire screeches and we flip or something.
Yeah, just keep the video on.
But anyway, where we were, John was, I'll recap real quick.
Okay, yeah.
John and I were just about to do bubble crabs for the first time, and we realized that we could just bet on the field 3, 6, 9, or 3, 6, 12, and then we said that I videotaped up to $100, and then I got nervous because I felt so bad for you for losing that 100 on the field that I turned the camera off and said I didn't really want to show the world how your how bad your heart was about to break. However,
I did go and continue my strategy past that point, and I bet, what was it? Was it 200?
Yeah, you already had 100 on the field.
I bet 200
on the field.
On the field.
Who does that?
Who does that? And I got it. And so I made back all the money that I just lost. Plus
you hit a triple with 70.
Well, yeah, 75. But that was not that point though. That was
a different.
But I just made it was a regular field. Mm-hmm. But I got it. I think it was maybe 11 or something.
Yeah. So you got $400. You got it all back.
I got it all back. And so that was a huge win. And the strategy works in theory, as long as you can have the bankroll to cover all of the swings, all of the the losses.
But I still am having a hard time believing that 7 or 8 times that you're not going to hit 2, 3, 4.
Well, we've seen
9, 10, 11, and 12.
We have seen it.
We did watch it go.
We watched. We watched 9 or 10
on bubble crabs. On bubble crabs.
Yeah.
We have never done it. We've never done that system.
Never done it on a real table.
Live table.
Yeah. So anyway, to get back to what we're going to be doing this time, this time,
we got a new.
It's a modified version of what we just talked about, but instead of doing the field bet, we're going to be doing the point and just doing doubling our odds for the point for every roller. Yeah. So we're going to place a bet of $5 on
and it's 100 times odds, we think, behind that
on the pass line. $5 on the pass. Yeah. And then we're going to do incremental bets for every roll, starting with 5 or 10. We're still talking about it as a starting roll, maybe 10, because obviously if you have a multiple in a row, you want to be able to capitalize.
A lot of times you have to have even odds. A lot of times.
And even odds. Yeah. However, the second roll, we're essentially just going to double it. I think that we're going to keep it about 10. The second roll.
Yeah.
And then.
Well, you have your little grid. You have it out.
Yeah, I can. busted out.
We have is it laminated?
It's not laminated. No, we didn't have enough time to laminate.
We didn't have enough time. But this is also in the works still. And then who hasn't? People have probably done this strategy. It's not like we made it up
Right.
ourselves.
It's just, you know, we're students of the game.
Yeah.
You know.
And we feel like if you double your loss, how can you lose?
So you double you double the odds of what you're putting on the pass line.
Okay, so let's go through a scenario. Okay,
Yeah.
say I put 5 on the pass line and I throw my point as a 4.
Right.
Okay, so now what do I put behind my 5?
This is the
For
first
my
roll.
first roll.
So in the strategy that we're going to be going with, it, you put $10.
Okay, so I got 5 and 10.
Right.
Total of 15.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
then
What if I don't get it?
You don't get it.
Yeah, 7 out.
Then what we're going to do according to this is we're going to go back to 5 in the pass,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to, you know,
Repeat
once the
it.
point's established, we're going to put a 10
Mm-hmm.
repeat
Again.
it
Again. Okay.
on the odds.
Mm-hmm. So now
And
I rolled a 5.
Then you roll 5. So the odds or the point's 5.
Mm-hmm.
So you are, and then let's say you don't get it again.
Nope, don't get it again.
Now we're going to go.
No, it'd be a new roller anyway. Every time I 7 out, it'd be a new roller.
New roller.
Yeah.
You're going to go 5 on the pass line.
And that is.
And now we're going to go 20.
Okay. So the
on-
third 7 out, or the third before the third 7 out, we've now doubled our odds to 20.
Right.
Okay.
So we're going to go 20.
5
so
and
then,
20.
So then you go again. If you don't get it again,
Okay.
then you double the odds again. So you're going to go 5 on the line, and then 40 on the odds.
Okay.
So essentially, you see where this is going. Now
80's next.
It gets crazy the further you go. Where
Yeah.
you go 80, then you go 160, then you go 320, which
That's a lot of odds behind
it's
there.
a lot. And so I think that we're sort of trying to make sure that we cap ourselves so we don't get too crazy.
Yeah.
And
Well, we don't have that kind of bankroll. I don't.
we don't want to take that much in cash it in.
So we have marked it down to 185. Will cover 5
Right.
different
5 rollers.
rollers.
Yeah, 5 rollers. And so
if all hell breaks loose and the bottom falls out.
our bet is, our gamble is that we're counting on at least one of those 5 rollers to get 1 point at some point. And
Within, every 5 rollers has to hit a point.
yeah. So
Doesn't matter who.
If one roller in 5 rollers gets 1 point,
Yeah.
then the strategy is going to work.
And it starts over again with 1, and then we go
And
back
then
down to
starts over,
5 and
then
10.
we start over from there. Now the only caveat is that the 6 and 8, if you bet,
We didn't see this coming in our first initials.
well, we added a little bit on the front end, and we were thinking that in the front end, if we keep on getting a couple of repeat points, we wanted to capitalize on that, and we didn't want to shortchange ourselves by not having.
But we do want to warn people if they're going to use this strategy that
Right. there is a small loss of $1 and $2 on the 3rd and 4th roll
On the
if you do a 6 and 8. If it's just 6 and 8.
So you're kind of hoping that it's a 4, 5, 9, 10 on your 3rd and 4th roller.
Right. As long as you're getting
you get money on that.
The odds of from the 4, the 5, the 9, and the 10, you're going to be fine making money regardless.
Yeah.
But
if you just lose $1, but you're getting all your money back.
all your money back, you're just going down, and then it's just on that
That's
one.
like a tip for
just in that one roll.
Mhm.
So you theoretically are going to be making money on every point,
Right.
except on the 3rd and 4th roll of the 6 and 8.
Okay.
That's the point. So the strategy is, it's a little
Got a little bit
tricky.
of a flaw, but not much.
A little bit of a flaw, but you're always going to be. That's why they call it gambling.
So if the 5th roller 7's out,
Yeah,
what is my total loss?
it's be 185.
185.
Yeah, so we're
going to cash in for 185.
Yeah.
Maybe 200 because I like to tip the dealers.
Might as well cash in at 200.
Tip
and
the
that
dealers
way-
and buy my beers with $1.
And if you are going to crap out,
Free beers, but I tip $1.
and if you crap out, you might be losing 5 here and there. But
Oh, that's true.
We're
Yeah, the
counting for
opening
that.
roll has to be a 7 or has to be a point or a 7 or 11 because
otherwise you're
you're going to lose that pass line.
Yeah, but you know what?
That's
It's just $5 here and there.
Yeah, $5 here.
But you might make it again from if you roll a 7 or an 11. So it theoretically should even out, statistically speaking. But you never know.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's what we're going to try. So it'll be interesting now, after recording this video, of what our expectations are.
Yeah.
To be
We have high expectations.
Well, I think that we're tempering our expectations. We don't want to get too excited about this strategy. We also want
can't lose.
We also we also want to make sure that because we don't really know if it's gonna we theoretically think probably will go 5 rolls without not hitting a point. but we're still going to monitor it first to make sure.
Oh, that's true. We're going to let it go around the table, what, once or twice?
Yeah,
to
just to
kind of count it, average.
Just to kind of feel the table and see, is it possible that it could go over 5? Because it theoretically could go over 5 without getting a point a lot, and then all of a sudden our strategy is completely ruined. Now, the other thing we discussed is bringing more than $200 for a bankroll, and then basically setting up, you know, the idea that we would then go and double our bet again to 160 on the odds, then 320, and then, you know, 640.
Then it gets out of hand.
It gets crazy, obviously, at that point, and so we don't want to get to that point.
But imagine hitting that point of a 4 with $600 back there behind it. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And so if you have the bankroll to cover it, then this strategy would work really well for, you know, going further than 5 rolls.
Do you get nervous, since it's a Friday night, that if we did that and we lost, we'd have no money for the next Saturday and the Sunday?
Yeah, but I mean, like, that's, I don't know, I think, like,
that's
you have to think, that's Hollywood.
Yeah.
No, but I think that you have to be able to, part of, I think, that one of the hard things about gambling in general, and that's what they're counting on, is that you can't stop. You don't have any, you can't stop. You don't have the what
willpower?
The willpower, or the, what is it called? What's the term called where you are, the discipline. Right?
Oh, discipline.
You need to have the discipline.
And that's hard.
Because one thing that I'm sure this is obviously why they give you free drinks, they want you to sort of get loose and get relaxed and be like, oh, well, let's throw a few extra dollars on the field just to kind of play around, and then all of a sudden you start losing more money than we've discussed with our strategy. One of the things that I think we need to do, if we're going to be doing the strategy, is to stick with it and be disciplined when we're betting, and not stray away from it if we don't want to be chasing. So we don't want to, like, chase losses. We want to stick to the strategy and use kind of the predetermined thoughts that we had of, like, where we wanted to go with our bets to make sure that we don't get out of control.
What feels bad to me sometimes is when I'm making everybody else money and I'm not making anything. Like, if I'm only betting on the point and everybody else, it's got the 6 and the 8 and the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10 all covered, and I'm rolling every number but my point, and people are just raking in money, and I'm sitting here with nothing.
But those same people are losing in other situations when they're betting all the numbers and they 77's out. Our strategy accounts for you 7ing out.
Yeah, that's true.
And you don't lose any additional money if somebody 7's out. The strategy sort of it takes that into account and makes sure that you're covered by upping the bets later. And so you're essentially building in the losses into the strategy. You're accounting for losses, which I think sometimes when you're
so it's not confusing your strategy, is it? It's basically just doubling the odds every time.
It's doubling the odds, yeah.
But the first two are the same. First two rolls.
That's a modification we put in there just because we figured it.
Well, we'll probably adjust it too. We'll probably, as we go the night.
No, that's the point. We don't adjust it.
So always want to.
That's the whole strategy.
Well, what if
we don't? We don't adjust it. Like
adjust it.
That's the discipline part that we have to keep in mind. Now, obviously,
you've had to pull me away from the table before.
Well,
because the table's hot. I want to keep going.
I think that you tend to get a little bit emotionally driven by some of your decisions, and you think, oh, I'm hot right now. I can't lose. And that's I think. And when you go on a long good roll,
you should walk away on a
high note. Always. One of my the things that I try to go by is if you bring like $100 to the table. So we got cut off, but I was basically talking about how we need to stay disciplined in our strategy and disciplined in what we're trying to do, because otherwise that's where you start to, once you start making
modifications
and you start veering off the strategy, that's where the integrity of the strategy will get compromised, and you will, everything we work towards of making sure that we are protected.
So you're like the voice of reason, where I'm like the devil saying, do this, do that.
No. I'm saying that maybe sometimes you get a little bit too emotionally driven by what's happening at the table. Yeah, well, we both do. I think that,
that's the one thing about Sam's Town.
Well, that's why they do it, is they try to get you drunk and then start maybe.
Right, but they are very loose with the beer. Those waitresses are
by design.
by design. They're all the time they're there. We're halfway through with our beer, and they're already bringing another one. And I was like, man, what's the deal here? And she's like, well, I'm bored. You're the only table I've got tonight, and it's slow. It is slow at Sam's Town, isn't it? Well, not to say it's Sam's Town per se. I don't want to call out Sam's Town because we love Sam's Town.
Yeah, we love Sam's Town.
But in general, Tunica is
underutilized.
Older crowd.
We could say that, underutilized.
How about an older crowd? Would you say that? Are we the young ones there?
Yeah, we're probably one of the younger people that are in the building. But also, I think just in general in Tunica, I think there's a lot of older people that have been going there for years.
They love the slots there.
For some reason, this place hasn't caught on with the younger crowd. And I think it's just it doesn't have the glitz and the glamour that maybe a Vegas would have.
Right, and there's nothing there. It's just
there's nothing.
The casinos. And there's no malls. There's no shopping for like girlfriends to go do while you're. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm just wondering why nobody goes as much.
It's interesting.
You know, three of them have already closed down.
Yeah.
Resorts closed down in June. Did you know that?
Yeah, you told me that.
That's where Bubble Craps is. So we don't even know if a Bubble Craps is even here.
Right. We got
to try out. We like to do a little bit of strategies on the Bubble Crap before we go to the real table.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's accurate. Sometimes it's not. It seems like Bubble Craps rolls a lot of 7s more than average.
Right. Yeah. We're sort of suspicious about.
We're suspicious if it's rigged.
Maybe it's rigged, but who knows? I mean, we're just guessing. We don't know if it is.
Maybe we just have bad luck.
Maybe we're just sour grapes. I think maybe sometimes.
Yeah. But we do like the alcohol at Tunica, and it's free, and it's $5 minimum tables. That's always a plus for a lot of people, right? Yeah. The one in Cincinnati that I go to is $15 minimum, and that's it really eats into your bankroll.
Sure.
When every number you want to place is $15.
And not only that, but people who are just learning, you need a small minimum bet so that you can kind of play around and make mistakes and maybe not necessarily be completely bankrupt after a few bad rolls.
Right. Like if somebody rolls craps 2 or 3 times in a row, you've just lost $50.
Right.
In 3 rolls.
Yeah.
So. And I've seen that happen too.
Oh, sure.
Where it just goes south quickly.
Yeah.
But I think what we're gonna have to do is recognize when the table goes cold. Right. Which I guess we'll know after 5 rolls when we're broke. When 5 rollers hit 7 out, we're broke.
Yeah. But I think
I guess we should leave.
But I think that we can afford to have 4 no points in a row. 5 no points in a row is going to be what sinks us. So we just have to make sure.
Did you want to talk about the modification? I'm not saying it's a modification, but did you want to talk about adding more money to the odds if we feel like we rolled a bunch of 7s and 11s on our opening roll to where you got a little bit of a cushion?
Yeah. So you're right. So we talked about maybe if the point's a 6 or an 8, we know that we're not going to make any money, and we maybe lose a couple bucks if it hits a 6 or 8. It's the point.
Right.
We maybe talked about adding a little bit extra to the odds.
Just so it won't be negative.
Just so we can maybe make back some of the stuff we're losing.
That's on the 3rd and 4th.
Just 3rd and 4th, yeah.
And if it's a 6 and 8. So, yeah.
And if it's a 6 and 8, yeah. So you kind of have to wait that out and see how the dice roll. But that's just something. I mean, that is one modification that we talked about. That's a possibility. Depending
that you'll
on how
allow.
I will allow that because it makes smart sense, I think.
I mean, I don't mind making all my money back and being even to where we came in, you know. Yeah. But like I said, my whole goal is to stay afloat all weekend, make $200, and be happy because everything was comped all weekend.
Right.
And, whatever. I'd love to come back with something.
Yeah. And I'm hoping that, to be honest with you, I think it would be devastating if Sam's Town closed down. That would be really bad for us because then it would mean that we wouldn't have anywhere to go. And I think it's a big possibility because, I don't think it's getting the utilization that
it's definitely dead. Monday through Thursday, it's dead. And
for people that like to play craps, it's perfect. Perfect place to go.
Because I sometimes like to throw at the table by myself. I mean, sometimes I go there and the table's empty. I throw by myself. I get a lot of reps when I'm doing by myself and stuff. And
those dealers are just there. They're just sitting there waiting.
That would be fun to do your strategy on your own self, because you'd be the 5th roller every time. If you rolled no points for 5 rolls, it would be you every time.
Yeah.
So and I feel like I can hit at least 1 point. Right. So I do like that idea. That's I guess we want to wrap it up. We want to kind of be under 30, 45 minutes, but we did want to talk about etiquette a little bit. I mean, everybody knows etiquette, sort of, don't you? You know,
well, I think some of the things are common sense.
Yeah.
But
what do you think is your biggest thing that bothers you? Do you have a bother? Like something bothers you?
Well, I don't think that it bothers me as much as it bothers you. I don't think any of it bothers me as much as I think it bothers you. I think that's probably hard for me to achieve. But I do think that you know, talking to the person who's rolling, I can see how that would be a little bit you know, a little bit annoying, because you're trying to concentrate.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like people who are bowling. You know, it's like
don't talk in my backswing.
Or golfing, whatever. But yeah, I think some of the things you've talked to me
we talked about that already. And the cash in. Don't cash in on me right as I'm, you know, in a heater.
Yep. Yeah, and throwing money on the table when you're in the middle of a roll.
Oh, and what about the dealer changes? Have you ever seen that happen?
Yep.
Right as I'm in, or you or whoever's throwing it.
Anything about that.
They've been 15 rolls in, all of a sudden, okay, dealer change in there, everything stops.
Yeah, or if they need to like get more chips, they bring like a big rack of chips to the table.
Right in the middle of it, put in the big rack of chips.
Yeah.
Even though there was a stack of chips there before they got there,
they still need to do it. Yeah.
Still have to change it. I think those are all parts of to break the rhythm up.
Well, to be honest with you, I think I almost enjoy those little breaks because it gives me a chance to
count your money.
Well, it gives me a chance to kind of just take a step back and make sure that I'm sticking to my strategy.
Well, that's the one thing I've never done is stick to it. When I see the bottom falling out, I panic, and it's bad. I mean, I am a beginner, and I do panic because
staying disciplined is definitely
that's the hard part, man. It's like because the system does work, you just got to stick with it.
In theory,
it does. Yeah, in theory, but sometimes
what I don't want to have, what I'm trying to avoid is on the way back, I don't want to have to come back and say that the reason why it didn't work is that we didn't stick to it. You know what I mean? At least if we stick to it and give it an honest go, we'll know that this doesn't work.
How many times is an honest go before we ditch it?
Well, I think if we lose all of our money, that's an honest go. But we stick to it.
How many sessions though? If we say $185 is our session, how many sessions can be gone?
I think that if we lose it, after 5, then clearly we need a new strategy. I think that if we lose it after
one time, one time.
I think so.
I say give it twice because the table could just be cold.
Yeah.
And sometimes the table's hot.
Right.
So I mean, I think we should at least do it twice.
Okay, we did it twice.
But I don't know.
Yeah, because that's 10 rolls. 10 rollers.
10 rolls. Also, there's one other strategy I want to try after that strategy that I want to try is well, I guess you could put it on the pass line. Put it on the pass line, and then as soon as they establish the point, put a $6 6, a $6 8, and a $5 in the come bet. Okay?
Right.
So that's sort of hedging your bet of if they rolled a 7, you get paid on the come, but you do lose the rest. But if they do hit a point, a number other than the 6 and the 8, that come bet will slide to that number.
Yeah.
And then you put another come bet down, right? Okay.
Right.
Your whole point is to get 4. Your whole strategy is to get 4 numbers working.
Okay.
Off of come bets and 2 place bets, and then you just keep replacing, press and collect. You collect enough to get your money back. So now you're just playing with what money. You know, you've already recouped your $22.
Yeah.
Which are the 4 numbers placed or come in place, and then you now are just playing with house money or whatever it is. But anyway, then you press and collect. You know what that means?
I think so. Explain to me.
Well, it's where you make $7 off your 6.
Okay.
You put it up 1 unit, so now it's at $12 6.
Yeah.
And you keep the rest or whatever, and then you collect on the 12, making $14, and then collect that, and then press it up again to $18.
Gotcha.
On the 6 and the 8. And $10 on the 5 or $10 on the 9 pays 14. So you just basically collect some, then you press up a unit.
Yeah.
And that's when you tell the dealer, press me up a unit, and he'll give you, whatever.
Yeah. And so this strategy is obviously relying on the longer rolls.
Oh yeah.
Without 7ing out.
My strategy means you have to win for it to work.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Well, I think that's one of my biggest criticisms. A lot of your strategies is they rely on you to actually get the rolls that you're looking for.
The first 3 rolls, 3 or 4, because you've got to establish all these numbers, and then you need them to roll another 5 or 6 times. I can't get all the numbers working on 4 rolls and then 7 out on the 5th because I just got my 4 numbers up there. And so now,
which it's going to work if everything falls into place, but that's a big if, I guess.
I just need longer rolls. I mean, I need somebody to roll. I'd say I'd like 15 15, is that too much to ask 15?
Sometimes,
Average,
yeah.
what's the average? 6, 7-ish?
I guess so.
Maybe 5?
Yeah.
But just don't establish the point, then 7 out, man. That's the hardest take, or hit, is to put your money up there and then it just gone after one roll. That's the part that irritates me the most, but I mean, I guess luck of the roll, right?
Yeah.
Luck of the dice.
Look at the draw.
Is there anything else you want to talk about before we end it? We like Tunica. It's our closest one. That's the only reason we go here a lot, is that it's the closest one. I think.
Is it?
At least the one that has free drinks and $5 tables.
Right.
Is.
Yeah. I think that's mostly it. Yeah. But yeah, I think that we enjoy going. I think that it's interesting because I had that really good experience the first time I came.
Yes.
And then I was sort of hooked ever since.
Because you played blackjack first before we were doing craps. He'd never done craps, and he was just playing blackjack.
I'd never been to a casino before.
Oh, you hadn't?
No.
I didn't know that.
And so I came to a casino and I was like, oh, I'll just play,
What you knew?
I knew how to play blackjack. I knew the rules to that game. So I played blackjack. I put $100, cashed in $100.
What'd you cash out with?
0. And so I lost $100 almost, I think within maybe 5 minutes.
It was fast.
It was like gone. And I'm like, okay, I guess it's gonna be that kind of weekend. I walked over to the craps table.
First time rolling, yeah.
First time, and then was up 100, like that, almost as instantly as I was down.
I've seen that work every time. The beginner's luck, girls, anybody that's never rolled before.
Right.
It's like amazing how, like, I guess it's like just a magnet for you to win.
Luck,
and then it gets you hooked, and then you're in.
Right.
But yeah, we haven't looked back since your first time.
Yeah, and I've definitely had some downs as well as ups.
But you made a lot of money that first weekend.
That first weekend, yeah, I made like $300, $400.
And that's a lot for us. So
that's a lot. We living large.
Living large.
But it also, I mean, it combined now with the fact that you get free drinks and free food, and then you feel like you're walking out with a lot.
And if I lose, I feel like it's just a bar tab.
Yeah.
Because I got all my drinks and food for free, and I lost $250. Then it's a big, it's a big, fun, expensive bar tab.
Yeah.
So, but this place you can do shots all free. You can do any liquor drink, any beer. I mean, everybody knows that casino. If you've been to any casino, you know that you can get any drink you want, basically.
Yeah.
But
some casinos don't have free drinks.
No, Cincinnati does not have free drinks, and that's where I've also gone. And the tables are a lot more expensive. So yeah, this is where you come to do your strategies and test out new theories, and we'll see how it goes. But I guess we'll sign off for our first initial pilot episode about. Would you say this is about nothing?
No, that's Seinfeld. This
This podcast is about something.
It was like students of the game, I think.
Students of the game. We're going to go with that, and you'll say, what game? And you'll tune in to find out what game we're talking about.
Yeah.
But
students of the...
I didn't even go over my roulette strategies. I've got a few roulette strategies, but we'll...
Oh, do you?
They haven't won me anything, but I feel like it's the best odds.
Right. You have a strategy. Doesn't mean it works.
It all relies on me winning.
Yeah.
But, all right, we'll sign off, and talk to you. Hopefully I have more episodes.
Yeah, I think so. We'll have the return episode.
Oh, yeah,
on the way back.
Yeah, part 2, the conclusion.
Yeah, on the way back we'll have to
it
update.
Might be short.
We'll have to update you on the return, and so like it'll be interesting to see if we have as upbeat of a mentality. We could be down in the dumps because we lost, or we could be even higher because we came back.
That's true. We may talk. Yeah. What if our return episode is it didn't work and we just cut it?
It could be. We're like,
cut video.
I don't even feel like doing a video. Let's just say we'll just give them an update. Be like, we lost. We don't want to talk about it.
We hope to be holding up $100 bills when we return. That would be awesome.
Throwing money up here. Yeah.
All right. So. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in, and hope you enjoyed the car podcast video. Is it a podcast if it has video?
Yeah, podcast. I think podcast would be audio, but maybe a video podcast.
Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
We digress, right?
Who knows?
All right, so just say bye.
All right, see you. Bye.